Chapter 362. What? Dot dot dot. The sharp contrast between Baron Wilhelm, who asked in disbelief even though he had received the answer he had hoped for, and Kishir, who collected his smile as though he were trying to gauge Yudhir's intention, was clear. Didn't I explicitly tell you to keep your mouth shut? Now, believing his grace, the Duke is by your side, you speak very recklessly. When confining Yudhir, Baron Wilhelm had refrained from binding him, instead laying down a stern warning that opening his mouth or using his powers would be taken as a confession. He had wanted to use Yudhir as a card to get what he had desired, but he didn't want to provoke unnecessary anger by mishandling him. Why would I? I simply thought that while listening to your conversation, following your instructions for a fair investigation would better prove my innocence. Hence, I took the liberty to request permission to speak. Of course, Baron Wilhelm had never used the word fair. However, Yudhir chattered on, his face like iron, as though it was very self-evident. Didn't you just mention the opinions of those who have examined the case? I agree with them. Even when I saw the deceased, I thought it was clearly not the act of a commoner. Before the Baron could speak, Yudhir quickly continued. If it is a crime committed by an awakener, how could our cavalry be left out? We couldn't help directly with Tainu knights who were killed in Great Serene Forest, but this time will be different. I will cooperate fully with the investigation and do my best to catch the real culprit. What? What are you talking about? The real culprit? Do you think the servant caught by the assistant is not the criminal? Kishir quietly interrupted the Baron's words and asked. Yudhir nodded his head. Yes. Why? Because he said he didn't do it. You expect me to believe such nonsense now? Do you think this situation is a joke? In fact, you and the awakener who disguised himself as my servant were in collusion. That's what you are confessing now. Regardless of the Baron's shouting, Yudhir focused solely on Kishir's reaction. Since his capture at the scene and until now, Yudhir had not had a chance to talk privately with Kishir or the others. Kishir, who had rushed here upon hearing the news and had been fending off Baron Wilhelm, would not have a clear understanding of the situation what the Baron had told him. The Baron had already admitted that an awakener was definitely the criminal. He might have wanted to pin the crime on Yudhir, but since the crime was related to an awakener, the cavalry had priority in the investigation. The Baron may have found them infinitely ridiculous, looking as if they knew nothing and did nothing, but in reality, Kishir and the cavalry had no reason to bow to him on this occasion, as long as they did not retreat from protecting Yudhir. We need to find out how the Star of Nagran has done such a thing. There might be someone there worth saving for information. We don't have time to be doing this because of Baron Wilhelm's petty power struggles. Yudhir looked straight into Kishir's eyes. He couldn't say it directly, but he believed that Kishir would understand his intention to this extent. Commander, please allow me to go to the security management team. ... If Yudhir remained here for the investigation, the chances of saving the man would be infinitely low. But if he stepped forward to be investigated first, the story would be different. After all, the Baron didn't truly want Yudhir's innocence to be revealed. His insistence on sending Yudhir to the public safety team was merely to hold on to Kishir, not out of sincerity. In the end, it was all a hidden struggle among those wearing masks to hide what they really wanted. In this situation, the best way for Kishir to proudly stand with the cavalry without being caught by Baron Wilhelm was on this side. If he could meet the captured man along the way, all the better. That's what Yudhir thought. The Met red eyes blinked a few times, seemingly wanting to say something, then narrowed and repeated this pattern until finally disappearing beneath the eyelids with a sigh. Commander, must we do it this way? The question returned, laden with many meanings. Rarely was there a voice that did not feel firm, small, and fragile. Despite momentarily feeling certain that his judgment was right, a ripple emerged from somewhere deep within his heart, but Yidhir slowly nodded. A moment later, Kishir opened his eyes, stood up, looking down at Baron Wilhelm, his face not that of a wayward duke, but of a composed commander. Before the Baron could even react to the sudden change in atmosphere, a voice containing immense power struck his head like a cold stream of water. I will send Assistant Yidhir Ale for a fair investigation to the public safety team, as you say. You surely know how much of a concession this is. Pardon? Since we have confirmed that the circumstances of the case are closely related to the Awakener, from now on the cavalry will participate in all investigations. No, Your Highness, please wait. Let us restart with the on site investigation. If the real culprit is elsewhere, there is no time for this. Your Highness, inform Commander Jamir Phil of Tenno Knights. Tell him to go back to the public safety team, not here. Kishir pulled Yudhir by his shoulder. For Yudhir Ale's investigation, the cavalry will send Deputy Commander Everbeck, Eamon Filang, and Phil Eldor together. All investigations will be conducted under the cooperation of the Tenno Knights and the cavalry, and opinions regarding the Awakener will prioritize the judgment of the cavalry. Anyone refusing will be judged as defying the imperial order. The Baron, stunned by the sentence pronounced like a verdict, only came to his senses and stood up after they had left. What exactly? What are you saying, Your Highness? Wait, please. It was a moment when the opponents had thought he had completely understood. The flag of victory he had thought had ceased suddenly seemed far away. You will know who did it as soon as you see the corpse. Yudhir whispered quickly and quietly, hearing Baron Wilhelm's pursuing footsteps from behind. I don't know how they came and went, but why they did it is more important, I think. Why? Kishir muttered, following Yudhir's words. That part cannot be understood by investigating from one side only. I will find out in that place myself. They said they found 9 body parts according to Pruel's words. He came to find those who lost their memories, so that part as well. Please. Your Highness. Yudhir closed his mouth, hearing Baron Wilhelm's footsteps approaching. I beg you, I will be back shortly. Kishir sighed and bowed his head. Yudhir did not avoid the descending lips, but accepted them. I brought you here to rest, but who would have known that the place to rest would turn into a prison? A faint whisper came through the falling kiss. I wanted to change your clothes and send you off, but my heart hurts. I'm fine. I knew you would say that, so it hurts. When he glanced to the side, Baron Wilhelm was standing frozen, his mouth agape. Yudhir nonchalantly brushed past him and went down. Investigate this person too? For that murder case? But the criminal has already been captured. Be quiet. Anyway, Commander Phil has not arrived yet. The knights who greeted Yudhir, who had come to Baron Wilhelm's residence with the security management team, were all wearing expressions of incomprehension. From their perspective, it was bewildering to suddenly have another suspect added when the criminal had already been caught. But those who remembered that the suspect was the very same arrogant cavalry member who had come to the security management team with the Duke of Paleta not long ago tried to intimidate Yudhir with loud laughter. The hero of the West saved the great serene forest, but the cavalry is nothing special. Maybe the real criminal is that guy, and he was caught trying to pin it on a servant. I thought it was suspicious when he was acting arrogant here, using his abilities. What did you just say now? As ever, who had come here with Yudhir coldly retorted, the knights promptly closed their mouths, but a low chuckling continued. I'm so annoyed. I will go and beat them up. You don't need to, Finn. Ydir calmly stopped Finn, who was about to ball up his fists. Anyway, the investigation will start with you after the Knight Commander arrives. Until then, they can only do this. But still, cleaning up the trash is done in proper order after the work is finished. Damn! Eamon, who had been silent with an angry expression, seemed to have trouble holding back laughter and blinked his eyes. Ydir, how can you say that in this situation? Ever frowned, bewildered, but her tone was much calmer. Thinking that she needed to maintain composure for the investigation, Ydir was led to his feet by the soldiers who had come to escort him. I will be back then. Please take care of the investigation. It's my first time doing this, so I am worried, but we will have to do well for Ydir to come out quickly. I will do my best. For the joint investigation, some conversation between the Knight Commander and the cavalry was needed, so Ydir was planning to wait in the prison for a while. And that was exactly where Ydir had intended to go. Usually, related persons in the same case are put in the same area. After following the dark stairs for some time and entering through the open door, the prisoner, crouched with one iron bar between them, flinched and looked up. The Awakener man, whose face had been severely injured in just a few hours, looked up at Ydir as if he couldn't believe it. You